ready for this little experiment. I'm going to try. I'm trying to save as much weight as I can. Now, this new Amok pack has added quite a few pounds to my normal backpacking, so I'm trying to see if I can reduce that. And one way, you know, is normally I carry. Well, at first I started carrying my MSR Whisper Light, and that's a beautiful stove. I like it. It uses white gas, and it'll boil water fast. So, but the thing is, this Whisper Light. Now, there's no fuel in here because even the alcohol stove would have fuel. So the Whisper Light is almost 14 ounces. Almost 14 ounces for the Whisper Light. Now the Jet Boil, it's got a canister fuel, butane fuel. Now that canister's empty, but I wanted to see what it weighs empty. Jet Boil, 1 pound, 5 1/4 ounces. 1 pound, 5 1/4 ounces. An alcohol stove, they say, weighs less than an ounce. So I'm going to see if that's viable. So now you can go on YouTube, and there's a guy named, I think, Hiram Cook. He knows everything about alcohol stoves, and there's a million others that show you how to build it. So I won't bore you with that. I'm going to build one just to see how it goes out. Now, most of them use scissors or X-Acto knives or something to cut, but you know, I'm a power tool guy. So I got power tools. So I'm going to start this, and I'm using a Coca-Cola Zero can. I'm not a big cola drinker, and I dug in the trash, and my friend came over, watched a football game the other day, and he's an old Duels drinker. So I got a few cans here, and we'll see how this little alcohol stove will turn out and see how it works. Got my safety glasses on. I'm ready to cook. Alrighty, got the first one done, 16 holes, sanded off, got the inside done. So one stove down. Now I'm going to make another one like this, an alcohol stove called a penny stove. So I'll get on that, and then after the penny stove will be the fancy feast, and I'll test all three of them and see which one I want to try. So let's keep going on it. All right, here's the second one. Unlike this one, this is opened in the center. This isn't. This is closed in the center with 5 little holes. And when you get it lighted, you got to put a penny over these 5 holes. That's why it's called a penny, I guess, stove. So I got to let these cure for 24 hours. Well, tomorrow, and we'll give them a test, see how they work. Okay. In my quest to lighten my load from this new sleeping system, this Amok Hammock, I went on YouTube, checked it out to see how I could maybe lessen the weight of my cook kit. So I've done some building. I've built this little stove here. It's opened up in the center. I built this little stove here. It's called a penny stove. You got to put a penny in the top. And then I built this little fancy feast stove. All right. Now, I did some testing just to see what is going on. So let's just say the penny stove. With the penny, it weighs 5/8 of an ounce. 5/8 of an ounce. I mean, nothing. The open stove, I don't know what the name of this stove is. It shows how to make it on YouTube, but that is 3/8 of an ounce. Okay. And then this right here is 7/8 of an ounce. Okay. Now, what I've used in the past, when I first started backpacking, I used the MSR Whisper Light. Now I gotta say, I like this Whisper Light stove. I like it a lot. But the Whisper Light, it weighs 15 3/8 ounces, almost a pound. Now that's counting the empty bottle, the pump, and the stove itself. Almost a pound. The Jet Boil, it weighs 1 pound 5 ounces. But the Jet Boil, you know, it's got its own cooking pot, so you don't have to add a cooking pot to that, you know, the weight of the cooking pot. Now my cooking pot is 4 3/8 ounces. All right, so to a 5/8 stove, ounce stove, you got to add the cooking pot, and you've got to add the bottle. Now these empty bottles for alcohol, 2 ounces. 2 ounces even for this bottle to carry the heat in. This bottle, it's got a 2 ounce and a 1 ounce, so I can keep track of it, and a little funnel. So this area is 2 ounces, 5/8 ounces, and 4 3/8 ounces. All right. Now, what I've done is on the penny stove, or excuse me, the open stove, let's call this one, it took 5 minutes and 15 seconds to boil 1 cup of water in the titanium pot. All right. The penny stove, it took 8 minutes and 45 seconds. And I'm not sure if I did it wrong or built it wrong or what, but when you light it, the bloom's real nice, but when you set a pan on it, it goes down a lot, the pressure. So the penny stove, it on 1 ounce of heat, it ran for 17 minutes and 10 seconds. The open stove on 1 ounce, it ran 13 minutes and 5 seconds. And then the this little fancy feast stove, it boiled water in a real nice time of 2:45, and it ran 12 minutes and 10 seconds on 1 ounce. Okay. Now the Whisper Light, on the other hand, white gas, it boiled water in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Now I don't know how much fuel it used, because I didn't pour it out and measure it, but the MSR on one of these bottles, the fuel lasts a long time. Now on the Jet Boil, it boiled a cup of water in 1 minute and 30 seconds. I guess that's why they call it a Jet Boil. Now these fins on the back, You know, they conduct heat right up into the pot, so I mean, it boils water fast. So if you're looking for speed, the Jetboil has it over everything. But the MSR is nice too. Now, the penny. Let me show you this. The penny penny stove. You got to put a penny on it. Now, let me show you this penny. This penny is just flat melted. And I thought that was kind of strange that the penny melted. And then I looked on YouTube, and a guy explained that you have to have a penny pre-1983 because those are real copper pennies, where these are zinc. So when you do it, if you'd make a penny can, get an older penny to put in. And it's pretty easy to find an older penny. I went into my money bank, grabbed a handful, and I found 3 or 4 in that first handful. So anyway, now the Fancy Feast, I gotta say, of all these, this is so far superior, it's not even real. But there's one little negative. These you make out of beer cans or soda cans or whatever cans, and they cost you almost nothing. Now the Fancy Feast, you have to put some carbon fiber in here as a wicking agent. Now some people say that they use fiberglass and stuff, but they also say that the fiberglass, after a while, it will melt and it'll give like a glassy beads around it, and it'll slow your stove down, where the carbon fiber won't. But the carbon fiber, now they say you get it at big Lowe's or Home Depot, and I went there and my stores didn't carry it. So I ordered some carbon fiber off of Amazon. Now the problem with this is it was 13 bucks. Now I bought something else so the shipping was free, but 13 bucks. And you know, I used a strip this wide, so I could make another 10 or 12 stoves with this amount of carbon fiber. So that's going to make this stove a Fancy Feast cat food can, a tomato can, and you know, is nothing. But the carbon fiber is going to add to your stove. But I'm telling you, it is far superior. And let me show you. I'll put an ounce in all 3 of these, and I'll show you the bloom. And then I will put a pot on it so you can see how the blooms react to pot sitting down. This is super easy. This lights easy. This is kind of hard to light, the penny can, unless I'm doing it wrong. Now, some people put wicking fiberglass or something in it. Some don't. I didn't. But maybe that's why I'm not getting the results out of this one that I should. So let me put an ounce in these and I'll show you the bloom. Alrighty, I've got an ounce of fuel in here, an ounce of fuel in here, and I got to put an ounce of fuel in here. Now this one, these two light pretty easy. This one you need kind of like a little fire pan. Okay? Let me turn the light off. Now this one, all you got to do is kind of lean it over. You can see that wick absorbing it. So we'll give them a few minutes to bloom. Now you can see the Fancy Feast is already cooking with gas. I mean, it's ready to cook. All right. You can see some blooms starting around the penny stove. So let's put a penny on there. And that's starting to go up. Now the open one is starting to bloom around here as the alcohol gets going. There we go. So you put a pot on this one, it doesn't change the bloom at all. You put a pot on this one, and at first it goes good, but as time goes on, that bloom goes smaller and smaller and smaller. See, and then this one doesn't seem to react too much to it. I mean, it's going pretty good. But if I had my choices, I'd either take this stove or I'd take for sure this stove. This is a nice stove here. This little Fancy Feast. I believe that was invented by Hiram Cook over there on YouTube, and I mean, this guy studies these alcohol and wood burning stoves like nobody else. So if you want anything, any information on alcohol stoves, I'd personally go to Hiram Cook first and then go other places. But those are the 3 stoves. Let me move these out just a little. I don't want to burn my my light. So that's what the blooms look like, and I'm definitely going to try that Fancy Feast. So I think this is one way that I'm going to reduce my weight. Now I've got some other things. I've got a ton of backpacking equipment, but a lot of it was bought in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So things have changed. Things have got lighter, and I've purchased a few things that will reduce my weight. I bought a new pack. It's on its way. I'll show you that later. But it saved me 3 pounds just on my pack. So we'll compare that later. I just wanted to show you these 3 stoves that I made. I think any one would work, but I think this is the best. This is better than that, and that's not bad. So they'll run about 10 to 15 minutes, and that'll be it. So moving on, let's see how much more weight I can get rid of.